Okay, so we're going to talk about how to make an explicit formula for both arithmetic sequences and geometric. Keep in mind, arithmetic is when you have plus and minus, you're adding or subtracting the same amount, and geometric is when you are multiplying or dividing. Cool. So let's zoom in and focus a little bit just on arithmetic sequences for right now. This sequence that we have right here is 6, 10, 14. And so here's my original 6 in each of these. And then you'll see that I'm adding 4 and then another 4. So the pattern that we're getting here is we're adding 4, which jives with it's an arithmetic sequence because we're adding the same amount every time. It's gonna be really important that you are able to identify what the 0th number is, okay? And by that, here's what I mean. Anytime we have a sequence, this is like my first number, right? And you might write that if we called this sequence A of X, you might write that as A of 1. Then we'd have A of 2, A of 3, ... So if I asked you, hey everybody, what's A of 4? You'd say, well, that would be the 4th number in the sequence. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, I need the next number. So let's add 4. And then you'd get that number is 18. Okay. But what we need is we need this one, which is A of 0. So the way that we're going to get that is if we're adding 4 to go this way, then we just have to subtract 4 to get this number. So 6 minus 4 gets us 2. And that is our 0th number. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to write this out in kind of an obnoxious way, but trust me, it's going to work out. So I've got my 0th number, and I'm going to keep a box around that so we kind of remember that that's not our starting number. And the next thing I'm going to say is I'm going to say, okay, to get 6, I really do 2 plus 4. And to get 10, I do 2 plus 4 plus 4, which if you see, it's like what we had here, and then you add another 4. Shockingly, to get, and it's not actually shocking, that was me being sarcastic, you add 3 4s here, and you just keep following that exact same pattern. And the reason that I'm writing it out like this is this will help us know why our formula looks like it does, because another way that I could write what we have right here is I could write that this is like 2 plus 4 times 1, whereas this is like 2 plus 4 times 2. Here we get 2 plus 4 times 3. And you'll notice it's just every single time. Here I'm like multiplying by 1, here I'm multiplying by 2, here I'm multiplying by 3. And that really kind of leads us to the final formula. So our formula here is going to be that A of X is equal to my 0th number, which is 2, plus 4 times whatever the number is. And the reason that this is helpful is if I wanted to know what, let's say, A of 10 is, I want to know the 10th number. You could also write this as A of 10. That would be okay too. What you can do is you just say 2 plus 4 times 10, and then you can evaluate. And we know that 4 times 10 is 40, plus 2 is 42. So the A of 10, or the 10th number in the sequence, would be 42. So this is our formula, and you'll notice that in order to get this 2 right here is my 0th number. And the 4 is the amount that I add by every time. So before we go on, let's do one more example. I'm going to do it just over here as a separate example. Okay, here's our example 2. We have a new sequence, 28, 20, 12, 4, negative 4, negative 12. And in this case, I'm actually subtracting, so I'm decreasing. So negative 8, negative 8. We're going down by 8 every single time. Even 4 to negative 4, and -4 to -12, it's going down by 8. So just like before, I need to find my 0th number. So I need this guy right here, which I'm going to get by taking this backwards, right? Just like here it was +4, so we subtracted 4. So here's -8, so we're going to add 8, and we would get our 0th number here is going to be 36. And then we can literally just follow this pattern, and we can say, and this time I'll call it b of x because it's our second formula. We can say that this is 36, and instead of +4, because this was like +4, we're just going to say -8x. So that's the second example for arithmetic sequences. Okay, let me know if you have questions about this. Let's move on over to geometric sequences, which are not going to be that different. It's just that instead of adding, we're multiplying. So instead of multiplying, we're going to do something else. So this sequence starts out and it goes, we've got 6 and then 12 and 24. And you can kind of see that if you see this 6 getting doubled, and then if you see this 12 getting doubled, basically I'm multiplying every time by 2. That's what my constant change is. Times 2, etc., etc. Just like we did before, we still need to get our 0th number. So we need to divide by 2, just like we multiply by 2. To go backwards, we're going to divide by 2, and we'd get that this is a 3. And then I would write the sequence. So here's our actual sequence right now. 6, 12, 24, 48. Multiply that by 2, you'd get 96. And then we've got our 0th number here is 3. One of the ways that we could rewrite this is if we wrote that this is 3 times 2. 12 is the same as 3 times 2 times 2. 24 is the same as 3 times 2 times 2 times 2. And hopefully you're starting to get this pattern. Since I'm multiplying by 2 every time, it's getting real small over there. That's what I need to focus on. And so what I need now is I need a shorter way of writing this stuff out. And if you recall, the way that we do that is we do that with exponents. This is like 2 squared. This is 2 cubed. This is 2 to the 4th. And anytime you have this, this just means I have 3 factors or 3 multiples like this of 2. 4 factors of 2. And so the actual sequence we could write out is we have 3 times 2 to the 1, 3 times 2 to the 2nd, 3 times 2 to the 3rd, 3 times 2 to the 4th, and that's really just how the formula is going to work out. So it's going to show us, in this case, g of x would be 3 times 2 to the power of x, and that is our formula for a geometric sequence. So just like we did before, let's do another example for this one. And I have a little room down here, so I'm just going to do it right here. Example 2. Okay. 10, 50, 250. What I'm doing in this case is I'm multiplying by 5 every time. And if I worked backwards, so in order to do the opposite of multiplying by 5, I need you to divide by 5. So our starting value is going to be 2. That's our 0th number. And so our formula is just going to be h of x, I just picked h because it's after g, is 2 times 5 to the x. Okay, let me know if you have questions. I will put all of these notes up on the classroom, so they should be attached to this, and talk to you later.